Most animals possess qualities that we dare not even dream of, from excellent senses of hearing, sight, and smell to the ability to anticipate devastating natural disasters. Our animal contemporaries are miles ahead of us in many respects. With so many animals behaving very strangely these days, you'd think a terrible catastrophe was imminent. But is that really true? Today, we're going to take a look at some strange animal incidents with you and try to uncover their backgrounds. Have you already left a like and subscribed and activated the bell? Then stick around until the end, because what's going on in the animal kingdom is truly terrifying. Bird stars and 5G. In principle, 5G is intended to provide the consumer with a significantly faster mobile network. In some circles, however, it is suspected that the fifth generation of mobile communications actually poses a great risk to all of our health. Our animal contemporaries are also affected by the negative consequences of radio radiation. In any case, countless users came to this conclusion when they became aware of the mysterious death of birds in Italy almost 3 years ago. Accordingly, the comment columns under the pictures showing us the dead animals were full of assumptions like, "The birds all died near 5G masts," or "Google it, dead birds in 5G." The problem? There is simply no solid evidence for these frightening assumptions. The website, republicworld.com, has set itself the task of putting the theories of the users to the test. However, the fact-checkers came to the conclusion that the recordings circulating on the internet are not actually from Italy. Instead, we are dealing here with the sad impressions of an incident that took place in the Netherlands in 2018. However, to this day, we still do not know why the pigeons and starlings really died back then. A 5G antenna test is said to have been responsible here too, but this cannot really be proven. Particularly striking, some users who wrote extensively about the connections between bird deaths and 5G experiments on their Facebook pages were later to remove their posts again. In fact, such mysterious cases are not an entirely new phenomena. In 2011, massive bird deaths also occurred in Sweden and the United States for reasons that are as yet unknown. Strange sheep. Those who cannot fall asleep are well advised to count sheep. But what should we do if the fluffy four-legged friends don't happily hop over a fence, but walk in a circle in a kind of endless loop? In fact, such a strange incident happened in China a few weeks ago. According to this, a flock of sheep ran around in circles for a period of more than 10 days. But what could the background of this mysterious rotary worm be all about? Even if this question has not yet received a clear answer, veterinarians suspect that we are dealing with a disease caused by the bacterium Listeria monocytogenes. Appropriately, the disease in sheep is also known as circulatory disease. The most obvious signs are neurological in nature, particularly lateral deviation of the neck and head. Accordingly, it is considered likely that affected animals tend to lean against solid objects, crowd into a corner, or circle towards the affected side. Animal clairvoyance. As already mentioned, animals are often said to have a sixth sense or even the ability to see clairvoyance. But what does science actually say about this controversial thesis? One thing is certain. When a devastating tsunami killed around 230,000 people in December 2004, the helpers in the Yala National Park in Sri Lanka could not find a single dead animal among the countless human corpses. And this, despite the fact that the park embodies the largest animal reserve in the country and is home to countless elephants, buffalo, monkeys, leopards, and crocodiles. In addition, the experts believe that most sea creatures managed to retreat to deeper waters in time before the catastrophe. But how can that be? How do animals know when it's time to run to safety? Although there are no large-scale studies to prove this, scientists believe that animals can anticipate events such as earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. The oldest sources dealing with this kind of sixth sense even go back to ancient times. The sixth sense on the test bench. In order to unravel this mystery, in 1975, people in China were asked to pay particular attention to the behavior of animals in their environment. The amazing result: after the animals started exhibiting strange behavior patterns, many people were evacuated, and in fact, the region was to be shaken by a violent earthquake a few days later. While similar cases have also been confirmed in Japan and Turkey, experts are still in the dark as to the background. In this regard, the scientists do not suspect that the animals have one more sense than humans. Instead, the 5 known senses are simply much better developed in them. It is therefore conceivable that the Asian elephants literally heard the 2004 tsunami coming. The pachyderms eavesdroppers are so sensitive that they perceive sound waves that remain silent to our human ear. However, in the panic that arises, some animals also make mistakes that they pay for with their own lives. Many hours before an earthquake, fish are said to have jumped out of the water and died. The snakes emerged from their safe holes and died of cold in the snow. Mass crash. About a year ago, a surveillance camera in Mexico caught something extremely strange: a large flock of birds falling to the ground like a heavy rock. But what led to the so-called yellow-headed blackbirds in Chihuahua apparently falling out of the sky? Even more, unfortunately, dozens of birds were not able to survive the mysterious crash. Is it possible that we are dealing here with the harbinger of an approaching catastrophe? Or can this mystery also be explained by other means? To this day, the true background of the mass crash is uncertain, but experts believe the birds either inhaled toxic fumes, were panicked by a bird of prey, or got caught in a nearby power line. Signs of doom? Even if the puzzling behavior of the animals seems extremely mysterious, a fundamental question arises. Why do some people believe that these events are connected to a great catastrophe, or even the end of the world? Well, to find out, we need to take a quick look at the Old Testament. Thus says God in the 38th chapter of the book of Ezekiel, "Truly, at that time there will be a great earthquake in the land of Israel, and the fish in the sea will tremble before my face, the birds of the air, the beasts of the field, and everything, what stirs and moves on land, and all people who are on earth." In addition to the bird catastrophes already mentioned, unexplained cases of mass fish deaths are also repeatedly registered. The increased cases of stranded whales also seem to support this biblical theory. The influence of man. However, we shouldn't make it so easy for ourselves at this point and simply blame all these incidents on a higher will or divine providence. In principle, it is possible for a whale to wash up on the beach because it is sick, injured, or lost. In this regard, however, the experts state that the excessive beaching of whales is clearly linked to human activities. These include overfishing of the seas, pollution of the environment, and ship accidents. The Dead Sea comes to life. You've probably all heard of the Dead Sea. However, the official name of this body of water is misleading in 2 respects. On the one hand, we are not dealing with a sea in the classic sense, but with a lake without an outflow. On the other hand, the Dead Sea is not quite as hostile to life as its name might suggest. It is true that there is no trace of complex life forms here, but this does not apply to the so-called extremophile organisms, those tiny creatures that adapt to extreme environmental conditions. In detail, in the Dead Sea, we mainly encounter bacteria that break down sulfur, cellulose, and saltpeter. A while back, Noam Bedin made headlines when he showed that other life forms are indeed thriving in small depressions around the Dead Sea. In the photos taken by the Israeli photojournalist, we see, among other things, small fish happily swimming through the extremely salty water. You're wondering why we're telling you this? Well, because this incident is also said to be interwoven with a Bible prophecy. After the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, the land was turned into a desolate desert. But even if the location of the sites is not certain, some believe that they were in the Dead Sea Basin. According to Scripture, life would return to the wasteland. Against the background of current observations, some believers in Christ believe that a development has just been set in motion, which is foretold in Ezekiel chapter 47. These waters flow out into the eastern region and further down to the Jordan Valley, and flow into the Dead Sea. And when it flows into the sea, its waters shall be healed, and everything that lives and moves in it where the river comes, that shall live. And further, and there shall be very many fish there when this water comes there. The sky changes colors. There are several other telltale signs that a disaster is about to occur, outside of the warnings from animals. If you are unable to keep a lookout for any of these other changes, one of the easiest ways to predict a natural disaster is to look towards the sky. If the sky begins to change colors quickly, you should know that there is a chance something terrible is about to happen. Some say that they have seen the sky change colors and appear green, yellow, or orange. When bushfires are nearby, the sky may even turn red. If you notice any changes in the sky, you're going to want to seek shelter immediately. Seeing the sky turn yellow or orange can sometimes be indicative of a hurricane, tornado, or another windstorm. Seeing it turn green, dark, or black would usually mean a strong storm is coming in, maybe containing hail or other debris. These changes in the color of the sky often come with the particles from the moisture of the storm mixed with the particles from sunlight, creating an illusion that the sky has changed colors. Your hair sticks up or jewelry vibrates. You shouldn't be outside during a thunderstorm, that much is clear. Even so, it is not always avoidable. After all, a thunderstorm can catch you by surprise. If you are outdoors when there is lightning or thunder clapping nearby, you can rest assured that a storm is brewing. You should also realize this major signal if your hair suddenly begins to raise, either on your arms, neck, or head. There is a great risk that lightning is nearby. Each year, it is estimated that 78 million lightning strikes crash into the earth. About 300 of these strikes will hit a human and end their life. Another big sign that there is an imminent lightning impact is if jewelry or metal objects begin to vibrate. You can usually feel a slight pulsing sensation if your jewelry is big or thick enough. If this happens to you, you should remove the jewelry immediately and place it very far away from you. Lightning strikes are attracted to certain metals, and if you are stuck, you can rest assured that you will likely not survive. Trees bend. This may seem obvious, but if you are ever wandering around a forest, you probably want to keep a close watch on the trees. If there are mountains or large hills nearby, trees may begin to bend or change shape if there is an impending landslide. This can cause them to slant, uproot entirely, or simply bend. Cracks may also begin to form in the ground, and you could feel the ground begin to shift underneath your feet. If you are already feeling this, chances are it is too late for you to run and hide. Landslides are very serious and will destroy everything in their path. They will uproot nature and leave behind nothing but a muddy, depressing mess. So, the next time you're wandering around in the forest alone, keep a close watch on trees and other plants. It may just save your life. Singing sand. If you are wandering around the desert and suddenly begin to hear a strange sound, sand avalanches could be caused. This strange occurrence was first noted hundreds of years ago when Marco Polo reported singing dunes in the Chinese desert. Charles Darwin, the creator of the theory of evolution, also mentioned hearing these strange sounds as recently as 1889. Rushing sand can produce sounds as loud as 100 decibels, and it is often very eerie. The volume is equivalent to a jackhammer being used on a construction site, though the sound is much different. If you begin to hear a strange song or pitch coming from the sand around you, you should probably get out of there as soon as possible before you are swallowed up by the sand or buried beneath it. These sand avalanches are no joke. What do you think of the strange occurrences that we presented to you today? Can these animal events be deciphered with simple scientific means, or is there a much deeper meaning behind these phenomena? feel free to let your thoughts run free and simply write them to us in the comments below. Also, don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe to stay up to date from now on. Finally, take a look at the other videos of our channel, which we have linked for you here in the credits. And with that, thanks for watching, have a good one, and see you next time.